in Salamanca. Salamanca was a sister to Timbuktu in Europe. Salamanca was ran by blacks and Arabs. We taught Europeans how to read. And not only that, we taught them how to bath. During the Black Death, it was the Africans that went to Europe with soap. There was a 30 years war in Europe whereby the Protestant churches were fighting the Christian churches. Germany, Russia, who was that one in the south? Ukraine, Baltic states were all fighting over that the Catholic side, the Christians and the Romans were refusing them the Bible. They didn't want to share the Bible with them until they got their own Bible and then they translated it and then they fought over who should be Pope. You are understanding me? There was a graveyard that was not marked. In that graveyard, it was filled with people who died during the war and after the war. They would prosecute women from Afghanistan. A Hungarian king owed one of those women. They would prosecute them. London was a dirty state, was the dirtiest place, was overpopulated. Everywhere you would look, if you are understanding me. Pocahontas was the first convert in America. Today she's famous. People don't even understand how. We have our own Pocahontas here in the Sutu tribes. They made her a saint. She was ridiculed for joining a church that she doesn't know about, foreigners that are bringing it here. So I don't know if maybe I was in ancient times, my brothers would have also buried me alive and left me for dead, went to tell our father I'm dead. Or the truth is I'm supposed to go find one. I found one, but maybe he's also gonna look back and his wife is gonna turn into stone. But the truth is I'm just trying to not be swallowed by a fish. That's the truth, you know. It's not me being miraculous or anything. In North Africa, there was a drought in Africa, if people don't know. The reason why each and every single person in the world has the same mother DNA is because of the last tribe to live during the heat wave left Africa. There was 2,000 of them. They went into the new world. That's why you see that from the Ingas Valley to the Nile to Egypt, everybody settled across the coast because they were running away from the heat. And then when they come back into Africa, nobody comes from lesser than South Africa because we all come from North Africa because we all left. When we came back, Songa was a male god, the biggest god in Central Africa. Yameha is a South African version of Ashira. Maui and Mau were the biggest gods in Central Africa. You leave and then we come here to South Africa, we had a drum made out of human skin. You hit that drum, rain would come. I told two girls, one of them, I told them that my God is a woman. We got into an argument. I told another one that I'm waiting for God to show himself. And I told that other one that I don't need to hear about your journey with God. You don't need to tell me why you're sick. I know why. I understand. We go to the Middle East and China. They go to China, they buy, what's the thing? To make explosion. They don't realize that we know that in Africa, petrol flowed to the surface. Told one of my friends that I saw a documentary that they say we didn't know how to use gunpowder and float to the surface. And he says to me, says who? It's a very good question. And I understand. We knew these things. They were here. Who taught the Chinese how to make gunpowder? It's a very relevant question. And then you go to Gaddafi. Gaddafi went and his land was stripped from him. He was embarrassed. But I can have hope because of he took 100 of his enemies with him. Now, when you look at the Sikhs believe that a person's hair is to stay with them forever and ever. They are not supposed to cut their hair at any minute. If that's the case, then was Solomon or Samson. I'd rather be a Samson than a Solomon. I would rather die with 100 of my enemies than to have 400 wives and be high every night, because of that's the kind of life that we live in. Then it begs to argue that Samson was a Sikh. The only advice he gets from God that he doesn't break is to cut his hair. Abraham had a visit from Gabriel before he has to cut Isaac's throat. The Prophet Muhammad had a visit from Gabriel. So if ever me and God have a location to meet, I guess I'm also waiting for Gabriel. But my God is a woman, so I guess the person that's gonna come to me is Allah's daughters or Ashira's daughters. You know, I will have to wait.